So before the Skidmore Tufts program, I had never left the country before in my entire life. Was very nervous about it, and I went here, and then immediately was speaking Spanish at a pace and a level I was not used to, and I was a little apprehensive at first because it's a lot to take in all at once, right? But especially now, as someone who is living in Madrid by myself, you really grow to appreciate all that the program does for you. Because with the visa and setting up your bank account, I had to do that all by myself coming back. So you really appreciate all of the work that the staff puts in for you. And even though there is a transition period where you're getting used to living in a new country for a while, going to classes, feeling what that's like, you really do adapt very quickly. And I think part of that is because of how responsive the staff is. They really get back to you immediately if you have any questions. It also helps having the language partners from the Spanish universities. I keep in contact with mine all of the time. In fact, we're seeing each other this Friday. And yeah, living in Spain right now during the era of COVID, we always talk about how lucky we are in comparison to some other European countries. I don't want to diminish the pain that a lot of people have gone in through COVID, but in comparison to some countries nearby, like Germany and France, we have a lot of liberties right now that they do not have. For example, like we mentioned before, dining is still open. Of course, you have to wear your mask. There are some limits. For example, there is an 11 p.m. curfew, so you have to be back in your house and make sure that you're not out on the streets. And you have to limit gatherings to make sure they're a little bit smaller. Things that are not totally different from some places in the United States. But you can actually go out, you can see people, you can have a bit of a social life, which is much appreciated. And also the attitude in regard to COVID, I think, is very important here as well. Wearing masks is incredibly important. I have seen people try to not wear masks, and immediately shopkeepers and people around them will tell them to put it on. There's also hand sanitizer immediately at the entrance of basically every place I've been to. And if you try to walk past it, they will remind you to use it. So there's just a lot of care being put into being as safe as possible. So if you have any concerns regarding COVID safety, I think you should know that Spain is taking a lot of measures to be safe in that regard. And in terms of just the program and my experience there, so when I was studying with the program, I did an internship at Provivienda, which is an organization for refugees from South America. And I taught English there. And I liked it so much that that's what I'm doing now. I'm teaching English in a bilingual high school. So I think that just goes to show you how these experiences you have when you are abroad will, no matter what you're doing, because everyone does something a little bit different with their time here, they will really shape what you're going to do in the future, either giving you ideas of what maybe you didn't like that much or what you really do want to do.